Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. This is episode 100. So we thought that we would celebrate and dress up a little crazy here. Say hi to everyone. Welcome. Again, it's very interesting because we're in trait 42, quality 4. So we're actually about completion. So we're celebrating our episode 100. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yay!
Love it.
So once again, welcome. This is April 13th, 2020. This is episode number 100. And we're going to be taking a look at trait number 42 in quality 4. And we're going to take a look at mediating growth and completion. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So before we get started, let's say hello to our panel. First of all, I just request that everyone send their prayers and healing energy to Anna. She's having some health challenges, so please send your prayers and healing energy her way. We miss you, Anna, so she's not able to join us today. And then let's go to Linda. Hey, Linda, welcome. Great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm just the youngest participant because I haven't contributed to the 100th episodes, but I'm doing my best. So congratulations to you both also.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for your contribution in getting us here to the 100th episode, for sure.
Thanks.
And Natalie. Hey, Natalie, welcome.
Yay! Can you believe it? It's incredible. It's incredible. So it's been 2 years, right? That we last 99th episode, it was 2 years. So yeah, amazing. And it's so fun to do, and very rich and valuable, and all of the sharings over these 2 years. So yeah, really happy to be here today.
Woohoo! And thank you guys for staying up, of course, late as well. So great to have each and every one of you here. Thank you, and welcome. My name is Karen Sherwood, and let's jump in and get started. So we are now in April, and we've been taking a look at awakening the life force energy to know that's happening in April. We're still taking a look at purpose fulfilled through the mind. However, we are going to be moving after April, we're going to be moving into form. So this is, in a sense, this preparation and this transition in moving into form. So last week we took a look at initiative. We took a look at shock, the ability to respond to shock and adaptation. So that's what we took a look at last week. Today, we're going to take a look at growth in the 42. This is completing a cycle, and completing a cycle is at the heart of growth. Next week, we're going to take a look at ordering. So again, we have this initiation shock. We have this growth, this completion of a cycle. And then ordering is the bringing forth the innovation of something new. So transcending confusion to establish order to bring forth something new. Then we have nourishment in the 27th, the compassion and the energy to care for others. And then we have rationalization in the 24. There's no proof or experience, only knowing. So it's just kind of interesting, kind of seeing, in a sense, what the energies are for the month of April, and kind of taking a look at how we're moving through each of these. If we take a look at today's chart, it's speaking when you're in the mood, right? It's the 2212. So it also is when in the mood, right? It can have a huge impact and mutation on society, on the collective. And notice that we also have the 360 that is also defined as well. right? So there is mutation, there is change happening. So it's very interesting now that we're in this growth where we're, in a sense, completing this cycle, wrapping up this cycle to be able to move into this new cycle of form as we move into May. So really fascinating to look at. So let's take a look at growth. Let's take a look at the 42. So completing a cycle is the heart of growth. This is one of the format strengths. It's one of the format strengths of cycles, beginnings, middles, ends, beginnings, middles, ends, right? And we have the 53 on the other side, which gets things started. And this is what completes things and ends with growth. So completing a cycle is at the heart of growth. This is also the tenacity to stay with a cycle in order to maximize its inherent potential. What is there to learn from this cycle? And it really is only in surrendering to the cycle, allowing the cycle to happen, allowing the cycle to unfold, that growth is actually possible at the end. And one of the interesting things is that before you can begin a new cycle, you must determine what is needed to bring it to a natural conclusion. We can't force the endings of things, right? If we try to force the endings of things, oftentimes it really doesn't truly end. We just take it with us to the next cycle. So where can we let things go, allow things to complete, and allow things to fulfill their natural cycle? Because what is left unfinished or what is left incomplete will have to be revisited in the next cycle. And oftentimes, right, we have, cycles that keep repeating over and over and over, and it feels like you're never going to be able to break out of the cycle. Sometimes it's allowing it to complete. It's allowing yourself to let go of whatever needs to be let go of so that you can truly complete the cycle. And when you can truly complete a cycle, you can begin the next cycle fresh and clean. So it is important that what you commit to is correct for you because it is very difficult to extract yourself from from something once you have committed to it. So think about a cycle. Once you've begun the cycle, you can't go, no, 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 I don't want to be in this cycle, right? Once it's started, you're in for the ride and you have to go through the entire cycle until it reaches its completion. So, if you don't want to be a part of that cycle, make sure from the very beginning that you're operating correctly. This is a builder strength, so it is connected to the energy resource. So it's about using your energy correctly as well. So making sure that you commit to the correct cycles, right? Because you're not going to be able to get out of the cycle till you get to the very end of that cycle. All right, so this is the trait of growth. I would love to hear from our panel, and of course, any of you that are there on Facebook Live, or if you are here live in our Zoom room, if there is anything that you see, if that you recognize about trait 42, if you have trait 42 and you want to share a little of your experience, we would love to hear from you as well. I don't think any of us have trait 42. I have the 53 on the other side, but I don't have the 42. But I would love to hear. Let's start with you, Linda. What do you see in this trait 42 of growth and completing of cycles?
Well, what comes up to me immediately is completing a cycle is going through the experience, what it has to offer, and just taking in everything that the cycle has to offer. And when it's correct, I feel like you will be surprised of what it will bring. And if you're not entering it correct, it bites you. And you have to go through it again. And it's also has to do for me with expectations, to really surrender. I have the 2946 and also the 53. So I really have a feel also with this trait that you really have to be aware of your decision-making strategy, to be aware and in the now moment to make your decision or wait for clarity over time, because it can be harsh to end up in a cycle that's not correct for you, and then you have to use all your energy. It's in the energy resource. It can eat you up. But if you complete it and it's correct for you, then the most beautiful things can occur and you can become really wise, and then you can share your experience and your wisdom with others. And it was really funny because I last month, yesterday, I'm just losing track of time. Time is flying by so fast. And I'm working with someone on creating some things when it comes to BG5. And yesterday we had a Zoom meeting and we were talking about, we have to finish it. We have to complete, we have to go through. So we planned another Zoom meetings for the upcoming weeks to collaborate, to discuss, and to finish it. So it's so amazing that with this energy frequency in the background, it really helps.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful, and growth, and even in this period of time, everything is starting to grow and to blossom, and that's how I feel also as human beings, and also within this period of time that we live in. It's like a energy boost. And if you start with a good cycle, then you can thrive. So I love this trait. I don't have it myself, but I have the other side. But I can really see and feel the energy in a positive way, like a buzzing, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that completion of a cycle, and I've been noticing, my office was a complete mess, and I organized it and cleaned it, and it was like, this completion, this growth, this preparing for whatever is next.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'm also really curious about what's going to happen in the world.
Yeah.
Because I was also listening to the news just an hour ago, and in the Netherlands they were discussing about ending the restrictions. Maybe Netherlands, yay! Maybe the 28th of April, maybe, and then in August, maybe complete. And there will be, of course, all kind of things that they want to be in control, but they are all talking about finishing the restrictions. So I also feel, okay, I like this energy. I would like to end with with all the restrictions and everything. So
Yeah.
maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wow. And Natalie.
Yeah, so for those of you in our Zoom room, I'm communicating. We have 3 people having the 42 actually in their live work, all 3 of them.
Oh,
So
wow.
Come on over. Come on over to our Zoom room. So please, if you feel that it resonates with you, we would love to hear your live sharing with us here about this trait. All right. What did I want to say? Yeah, so I also love this trait, and we are actually kind of in the spring part of this beautiful picture with the blossoms, and then some of the what are called these real beautiful yellow narcissa that we have. Daffodil, whatever in English.
Daffodils.
Daffodils, yeah. So we have daffodils all over the Netherlands. Anyway, but we also have that winter part of it, like boom, smacking again. I'm so done with. I just want summer and sunshine and woohoo, going out into the beach and whatever. Yeah. So about this trade, I'm just. um, yeah, key thing, and it is in the energy resource, right, is really to only enter into something if you respond to it, if you have the energy to, if it feels correct, right, if you feel yay about it. And I know Chris actually has the full strength, and in her sharing, and if you want you can go back to last year, right, and hear her sharing about it. But she has had it come around, right, that she entered into things and then you just, it's terrible one to complete, and and if you if you entered into it and you drop out, it comes back to you. You have to complete it, so you have to go through it, and it's a tough lesson. And so you can finish eventually, but it will be a thing. But yeah, so it's really all in the experience, and you don't know what you will learn at the end. Yeah, only if you complete the process. So yeah, don't enter into also in with expectations about where you want to end up, because that's not what it's about. You know, it's just enjoy the ride. Just made a beautiful video again on the ride. So I will show you in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it really is that surrendering to the process. And even if you have entered into a cycle incorrectly, and the cycle's not so great, if you allow it, again, you need to allow it to come to its natural completion. Oftentimes there's some very magical wisdom on the other side. We often say, we talk about this in the Profit Potential certification, about how your mess is your message. And oftentimes entering into a cycle that's not correct and bumping up against it and trying to force it to change, and then finally surrender. It's with that surrender and allowing things to come to fully complete, and allowing things to be as they are, just as both Linda and Natalie said, without that expectation, is what allows it to finally complete. And once it's complete, you can let go, you can be refreshed for entering into a brand new cycle, free from the chains of the past. Yes, Natalie.
No, we have Diana here now, and she has the full strength. So,
oh, great.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you the mic, Diana. Cuevas.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I never thought I would be talking to you guys.
Yay.
Oh, it's so easy.
Yeah, it is.
Show up. So how is the experience for you having the full strength?
Well, I don't know exactly, but I definitely do relate to the getting into something incorrectly and having to wait and not being able to get out of it. That's for sure. I don't know what the full strength, the full channel means. I think it's just the cycles, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually I only have 2 complete channels, and that's one of them.
Mm.
But yeah, I recently ended a relationship, and what I can say that I have seen like these patterns throughout my life of going from one relationship to another, and like suffering a lot because of just because of going into them incorrectly, And but yeah, I do relate to the experience. It's like once it has ended, there is this ease and learning and experience. So yeah, I don't know what much I can say about it.
No, yeah, it's beautiful how you share. It is about the full cycle from beginnings, middles, ends, right? So if you only have the 42, it's really about the ending. It's about the completion. If you only have the 53, it's about starting, right? And then completion may be a tougher part. So you have the full cycle. So and thank you for sharing, Diana.
Yes, thank you so much. Really
Thank
beautiful.
you.
And thank you for joining us.
And we
Thank you.
also have Debbie here, and Debbie actually is in my certification course, and she, innovator, has the 42 as her conscious core essence. So congratulations. I don't know when exactly is your birthday, but it's near.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Natalie. So how this showed up for me, and this is my example, and I think it speaks to it. So back in 2007, my son wanted to start his own business. And so my background is in finance. So I said, I'm happy to help you. And I continued to help, but it was at the point where I didn't want to anymore. But I couldn't get out. It's just like we tried to sell it. Like, I want to say there were 7 different people that came in and it just did not sell. And it wasn't until last year, because of COVID, that we had to shut it down. And I did everything in my power for us to get the, the grants that were given here in the States. And we weren't able to get the grants. And then finally, when we were said, okay, you can have it, we went to our employees and said, okay, we would love to have you back because we've got the grant money. And because of the fact that people were paid more on unemployment than if they were paid back at work. So they said, we're not coming back. And so we had to make the decision to close. And it was a really hard decision, but that was the completion. And that's how I see this whole cycle. So I was in it for 13 years and I learned a lot, but man, it was hard, really difficult. And I tried my best to get out. And it wasn't until that complete cycle. So that's how I see it in my situation.
Yeah, beautiful example, Debbie. And that's one of the things, is that even if you try to force your way out of the cycle, it seems like you still, you wanted to sell it, you wanted to get out, and it's, it's not until it came to its, in a sense, its natural completion that, in a sense, you were able to move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thus the importance of entering into the cycles correctly from the very beginning. And you may have entered it into it correctly at the beginning or not. But, sometimes there is the learning that you need from that cycle. And again, it may be a mess, but there's a message on the other side. And that is the true gift of this cycle at the end.
We have another birthday girl.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Now.
So,
Celebrating for everyone. Yay.
It's my sister's birthday today too. I'm about to go to a birthday party.
Congratulations. Yay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that is Tanya. Sorry, Tanya. I meant to do Sonia, not Tanya. So Sonia, it's your birthday somewhere this week as well.
Yeah, hello ladies. I've been following you for a while.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it will be in a couple of hours. It's not yet. Yeah, another birthday, another year older. Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for the great job that you're doing. What's my experience with this trait? Well, I've been working in corporate environment for over 20 years, and I'm always the one to complete projects that have been hanging around for ages. And then wherever I move, and it's like really works in cycles. Like I'm in a position for 2-3 years, it always feels like project based, but it's never like that. It's never called a project. It's always some sort of official position. But I just keep moving, and within the same company, but for so many years, and I just sort of find unfinished business, and then I'm sort of placed in there to finish it, and then I move on. And it's never happening because I'm planning it or because I initiate it. I'm a mental projector, by the way. So yeah, it's really interesting how this works.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a beautiful example. I have the 53 on the other side. I'm really good at starting things, but I'm not so good at finishing things. And I love what you said about you're the one that comes in and, projects that have been sitting there forever, you're the one that actually completes them. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny how it works, but it actually does work. And it's not something that I want. And I to be honest, when I was growing up, I always thought that I'm really bad at finishing things. But now looking back, it's everything that I have ever started, I've always finished. And it seems that I cannot move on before I put an end, whatever it is, relationship or job or project.
Yeah.
It's
Really
so
great
amazing
example.
to hear the energy at play, just keeping people in, and just that the energy and the cycle doesn't let you go before you have gone through it till the end. And like in the case of Debbie, for 13 years, it's amazing just to hear it. And I don't know if Debbie still can unmute, but I'm really curious, after 13 years, if you can really feel or see the wisdom of the cycle. What has it brought you?
Oh, thank you for asking that question, because I've been trying to start my own business for quite some time. And I could never really get it up and running. And because my background is in finance, that was learned, versus now I am working in the grief and loss arena, if you will.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And that is because of my experience of losing my son. So it's like my purpose is being fulfilled and why I'm truly here, or that's what I believe. And so I'm going to say this, and I cringe at it because I'm really relieved. I'm relieved that we're done and it's behind us, because I felt this great responsibility to make sure that everything was completed the right way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And those two options were either to sell it or to close it. And for the life of me, to this day, I don't understand why it didn't sell. It doesn't matter. I don't need to understand. It's just a question that keeps going through my mind. However, now and I certainly was on purpose back then as well. I was serving my son, my other son. But now that I have my full time back and I can concentrate my work serving people who are really struggling in life and who've had the worst day of their life, I feel on purpose. So anyway, that's the wisdom. I learned so much in that 13 years. I learned how to be with people through really difficult times. And that was in business. And I love business, but now I'm in a totally different world, still working with people, but at a different in a different way.
Yeah.
Well, it's really
Amazing.
beautiful what you do as well, because you really are, it is part of your life work, is
Yes.
to assist people in this growth, in
Yes.
this completion. I think it's amazing. It's so beautiful. I got goosebumps.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
son's 32, so my
Wow.
earth is 42. So yeah, it's all about change and growth and
Wow.
living in the uncertainty.
Wow.
And what
Yes.
quality
And
do you have it, Debbie?
I'm sorry, Natalie.
Sorry, what quality do you have it?
Quality is both are threes.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you, yeah. Okay, thanks. We will see.
experiencing it, but also
Yes.
I really hear the tenacity.
Yes.
I really, that's what stands out for me. And then with the tenacity, like it's an energy that wants to, yeah, maybe, how do you say it? It helps you to gain the wisdom that you
Yes.
need to go forward with your own growth. It really is, yeah, expanding and just forcing you almost to live out your purpose.
Exactly.
That's how
I
it
have to
feels.
experience it. I have to live it. And I have a lot of
Yeah.
individual circuitry.
Mhm.
So, and so that's how, because I'm living it and experiencing it, that's how I'm able to share my wisdom.
Exactly. And that's
Beautiful.
so wonderful to hear. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah, yeah, really
Karen.
beautiful example.
Yeah.
Making it really rich, making the trait, 42 really come to life. So I just really appreciate all of you who just shared. It's really exciting to hear the different perspectives and hear how it really works and hear how it practically shows up for each of you. Thank you so very much. Wow. And we happen to be in trait number 4 as well. 4 is always the influencer, and or quality 4, I should say. Quality 4 is the influencer, and quality 4 is the middleman with growth. And so, what that is, the elevation is the maturity to bring growth through mediation, the quintessential manifestation of the mediator, right? So be able to, there may be a conflict, there may be something going on as a result of the shock from last week, that in being able to mediate things, to bring things to an end, to bring forth growth. Or on the other side, we have the challenge, the lack of maturity, where the power to harmonize distorts mediation and limits growth. This is where the gift to establish and maintain relationships is ill suited in the position to act in mediation, where harmony must take a back seat to pragmatism. So, the elevation is being able to bring harmony, and to be able to bring this growth. And here it's kind of like you're trying to manage it, but harmony must take a back seat, to making sure what's practical, pragmatic, in order to bring things to a close. So again, just kind of the elevation of it, and also the challenge of it as well. I don't know if there's anyone who has the 42
Sonia.
and quality 4.
Sonia, whose birthday starts at midnight.
Right,
She's
right.
in quality 4. So do you resonate with this, Sonia?
Yeah, of course I do. It's not easy to be the middleman, because particularly for a projector, it's very difficult being unseen, and the middleman is always the one who is rarely seen. You have to bring things to the end, and then you might get recognized or not, but the recognition actually lies in appointing you for the job, let's put it this way, to be the middleman.
And it sounds like in your position too, kind of the middleman of even, the things that have been left incomplete, being the middleman and finally getting them complete.
Yes, very much so, very much so. But quite often I find myself also connecting people. Like, my current job is sort of a bridge between different divisions inside the company. So
Wow.
that's quite interesting. So yeah, it's the true middleman.
I love it. What a great example. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Beautiful. And we have our celebrity as well. This is Annie Sullivan. She was the teacher to Helen Keller. Now, I didn't get her exact birthday, so it could be that it may be off, but just kind of taking a look at what she did. it seems appropriate that she may have been a 4-1 as her public role. So again, just know that the birth time is not exact. But the life fork here, if it is a 4-1, the life fork theme is completion. You are focused on completing what you have begun, like a marathon runner who reaches the goal after others have gone home. And this is what really, brought Annie Sullivan into the limelight, is that she continued to work with Helen Keller, to be able to communicate. So she was American teacher best known for being the instructor and lifelong companion of Helen Keller. At the age of 5, Sullivan contacted trachoma, an eye disease, which left her partially blind and without reading or writing skills. And she received her education as a student of the Parkinson School of the Blind. And soon after graduation, at the age of 20, she began as a teacher for Helen Keller. And, she was really the person responsible for allowing Helen Keller, who was deaf and blind and couldn't communicate. She was really responsible for teaching Helen Keller how to communicate and how to express herself. And so again, like the marathon runner who reaches the goal after all the others have gone home, she had that fortitude to keep at it, to get to the goal, to be able to have her to teach Helen Keller, not only Helen Keller, but herself as well, also being blind as well. So pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And she has it twice. Debbie noticed that she has it twice also in her communication. So it is what she does, being the middleman and reaching the goal eventually through experience, right?
Right.
So experiencing herself of going through it, getting partially blind over her life, and then being able to help others with that. Yeah,
right.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So being, in a sense, the middleman between Helen Keller and the world, to be able to break through that barrier, to be able to communicate.
Yeah, really and beautiful. The influencing really stands out.
Yes.
Because I'm a trained mediator, so I'm not a natural. I wish I would have the 42-4. But it's really about seeing, like, also the process of when people are in conflict, because then you're going to mediate, then the time has to be right. There has to be a maturation of an understanding and awareness that you want to get out of the conflict. So I really feel it's about influencing each other. It's a wonderful combination. And I also thought that about those people. There was a movie about I don't remember it really good, but I recognize the story. So it's really wonderful, the influencing, the fourth line, and also to show growth in teaching someone, and to start a cycle of teaching someone about how to read or write or whatever, and and to then complete the cycle, and then have a beautiful wisdom that you can share with the world. So it's wonderful.
Exactly. And I love what I just wanted to highlight this because I love what you shared about mediation, because mediation, right, it happens when the timing is right. And when we're talking about the 42, it is about, we've heard this theme, right? When the timing is right to bring something to a conclusion, to a completion, to a mediation, and to allow that to unfold so that growth can happen. Yeah,
because the first thing you take a look at is commitment. And if one of the parties is not committed to have an open conversation that you lead, then you don't have to start, because you are. I now maybe see, like, it's really about growth starting correctly. If you don't start correctly with mediating, it is going to be a harsh thing. And so the first thing you learn when you become a mediator is to really take a look at, are you committed to also step aside from maybe your principles or your resentment, and to be open to work towards a solution. And if there's not, or they say yes but it's a no, oh man, then it's horrendous.
Work well. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really feel it's wonderful that mediation is connected to this trait in this line, because it's all about the influence and a cycle of, because they already have gone through a cycle, and then you are going to end it with your help or not.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Really beautiful. Wow. All right, so we're going to wrap things up here in just a moment. So I'm going to go through a few slides and then we're going to wrap everything up. So if there are some last things that you would like to share, if there are insights, we will get to that here momentarily. Again, if you are just joining us and wanting to find out more about what BG5 is all about, and do you have 42 or not, you can go to the BG5 Business Institute website, so bg5businessinstitute.com, and you can download your free personalized chart and you can follow along to see which traits you have or which traits you don't have. You can also follow us on BG5 Live. You can follow us on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. You can also find past episodes in our free resource library. You can find out what the trait of the day is by following along also on the website. And we have our classes coming up in May and next Wednesday, so a week from tomorrow, we're going to have a little mini summit. Tuck and myself are going to be leading a couple webinars, so we're going to have a mini summit. So we invite you all to join us there as well, and check out our courses that are coming up in May. So it's coming up really quickly. We have some that are actually starting in April as well. So take a look. All right, let's wrap everything up. And what I'd like to hear from each of our panelists is what to take a look at in this upcoming week, at least the next few days, as we take a look at bringing these things to completion. And if there is anyone else, either on Facebook or live in our Zoom room, that would like to contribute.
So do you want to do the last first?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Kathleen. She is also joining from our Facebook, and I'm going to where are you? There we go. And she has the 42 in her conscious driving force and in the conscious maturing energy. So Kathleen, how is the experience for you on the 42 of growth? And you can unmute yourself if you can find the little microphone button.
Oh yeah, no, I would love to say a couple of things, because I feel very involved with that 42, and you know, I have a question, or I have a comment, which is that I don't think that entering correctly, or this is for me, maybe I've entered incorrectly every time, but I don't think that entering correctly depends on how smoothly and how comfortable you are in that experience. And maybe you've already touched on that by saying that, you know, one needs to be committed and have the ability to endure. Now, I do have the 52 with that, and, you know, the desire to go, the 35, 36 desire to go on an adventure with someone. And it isn't necessarily easy. And, you know, I've been in relationships that people would say like, oh my God, who would be in a relationship like that? And, you know, in a way, they're right. I can ask myself that question, but but ultimately, I see, because I see down as the, you know, as I learn, and as I am with that other person, and we're both like adapting to one another, and, you know, learning and growing and seeing the love expand. And you know, I could tell stories about it, but we don't really have time for that. But so, you know, there's been a couple of times where things ended not so well for me. I really was not happy. I wanted to go on, continue and finish the cycle, and the other person didn't, so that was painful. But in that pain was terrific growth, and and ultimately terrific love, for everyone involved in all of these situations. So I just wanted to say that just because you're not happy with it doesn't mean that you entered it incorrectly, I don't think. And the other thing I wanted to say was, I have the 42, and I have just those two, and I have the 42, but I don't have the 53, and so I really feel that all the time. It's like it's so hard for me to begin something, and I really, really have to be in the very right place at the very right time to move forward on something, and that can be just little things, so that's the thing I noticed for myself. I have to trick myself, like I have to start a project the night before to know that I've already started it the next day, you know what I mean? So I have little tricks that I use to allow me to get things going without another person. Well, anyway, that's the main thing I wanted to say. But I guess I just want to say I will tell you this one little teeny story, that when I first married my husband, my second husband, we had some, if he got hurt and he was like, and I would have to take care of him, and I'm thinking like, oh my God, I don't want to have to take care of you the rest of my life, that kind of feeling. I wasn't feeling like, oh, here, come here, honey, let me do this thing. So anyway, and so we were together in our own way when he died, and I was his caregiver then after 35 years of being together. And we had, I as a manifestor, he was always asking me to do stuff, and I'm always like, no, but would ultimately do it. But and in his death process, I had to surrender to everything that was going on with him, and I had to be willing to do it. And so by the time he died, I was taking care of all aspects of his life. I mean, he didn't have Alzheimer's, but many aspects of his physical, taking him to the casino so he could have his breakfast at the casino and stuff. And we died in such love. I was so happy to be doing everything for him, that I had surrendered, and it was the culmination of the love that we had for each other and all the difficulties that we'd worked out and everything. So, it can be a long time till you really see it. And if I had, if I'd had my way along the time, I would have gone off with somebody else, or I would have done this or that, but circumstances had me there finishing it up. And I'll tell you, it was just phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was beautiful.
Really powerful. And again, that word surrenders come up again, how you really surrendered to the process as opposed to fighting against it. And when you surrender to the process, it really brings it to its natural completion. And you shared that so very beautifully.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so very much.
I'm so happy to have the opportunity to share that.
Yes.
It was a big one.
Wow. Wow. And I'm just, this is a sharing trait. This is the sharing of beginnings, middles, and ends. So I just think this is just a beautiful representation of what this trait is about. Also in sharing your experiences. It's really beautiful.
It's so great.
And with the BG5 community, it's the fourth line. So it's just influencing the BG5 enthusiasts that are here.
I'm so happy because I found you guys because I mean, I am the sort of manifestor that kind of teaches myself and does everything by myself. And so it's so much fun to be sharing this with you in my little secretive way usually, but it's good.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you
so
informing
much.
us.
You're welcome. There's only one other little thing, which is that there were other relationships that I had begun, and I felt good about whatever was happening, but there were some difficulties in it, and I wanted to get out of it, but I couldn't get out of it until he finished it for me. Because
Yeah.
I was sticking with it as it developed, So that was an interesting thing on the other side of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Again, another theme is you can't force the exit from the cycle.
No.
The only thing that you can do is you can surrender to the cycle and
Yes.
allow it to come to its natural completion. But
Yes.
as you heard from several of us, that you can't force it. You try to force it and it bucks up against you, and it's just allowing it to come to its natural completion and to wrap everything up.
Yeah,
Really, really beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you so very much.
And Sonia says to you, she put it just to panelists, but she wrote to you, Kathleen, "Wow, so powerful story, resonates with me deeply and teaches humility." Thank you, Kathleen.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
Oh, so beautiful. Yep,
Yeah.
you can't force the finish.
No.
So, any last thoughts or words of wisdom, Linda or Natalie, before we wrap everything up for today and bring it to its natural close?
Well, if you have a to-do list, you know what to do.
Complete it.
Finish it. The coming days, yes.
Go for it.
Yeah. Hurry.
I for sure will make use of the energy.
Yes, exactly. So this is really, especially in the next few days, this is time to surrender, right? We heard that word quite a bit, surrender, and allow that natural process to unfold, and then learn the lessons from that completion and from that cycle. So beautiful. I so appreciate each and every one of you. This has been so fun to hear from so many of you, and thank you for how richly you shared today. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye. We're going to celebrate.
Yay!